But you mentioned the brand Tesla. So why did you choose Tesla? I mean, I love the brand, the name, right? But there must have been some reasons for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the first one that comes to mind for, I think, just about everyone these days, with Elon being such a big figure in our society.
Divisive, whether you like him or not.
Right.
He's a big figure.
Yeah.
Right.
He's pretty known.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of people know.
A couple of them know. Mm-hmm.
And because of that, a couple of people know his product.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is the cars, but a big component of what he does, or what his company does, is based in renewable energies,
Right.
Predominantly solar.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jason Perez.
And I'm Wesley Long.
And we're bringing you a fresh new take on disaster preparedness.
Welcome to Disaster Class.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Disaster Class. I am Wesley Long, and you know what that means. Class is now in session. Well, we got a really fun episode, or two episodes in front of us. We have a wonderful individual, Graeme Hardy, here. We're going to talk to him about a couple different topics. But who is he? Let's give you a little background. So, Graeme, you are, if my information is correct, a paramedic for over 13 years, supervisor for over 4 years, an educator for over 11 years, a father for over 5 years, and a prepper for over 6 years.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. So you've done some stuff.
Yeah, a couple things.
A couple things. I love it. So today we're going to be introducing you to our Disaster Class family and team here, because I think they're going to appreciate a lot of the experience that you've had in a couple different areas, and I think it's going to be pretty interesting for them to understand two specific things about kind of your message and kind of why you're here today, some things to be thinking about, some things to be looking at as far as options, and the first that we'll get into is solar power.
Yeah.
So that's like something that you enjoy.
Yeah, really kind of started dabbling in it this past year.
Tell us about that. What was the dabble? How did that all start?
Well, it really started with kind of, like we've talked about previously, it was a backup to a backup. I mean, we had the generator as a backup power. And it was really just a matter of kind of getting energy independence in a way, as well as an ability to have the backup to the backup.
Awesome. Yeah, more redundancy.
Yeah. So we started the dabble in September.
Okay.
And even over this past winter, I've had some pretty good success with it, with even the looming storm that we have coming tonight.
Yeah, this week, yeah.
Yeah, Tesla the product has been very good and very impressive.
Okay, so the brand was Tesla. Okay, so let's get started with this. Why did you choose to get solar? So you kind of talked about that, the need for power and energy independence, of redundancy of backup, because you had a backup, but you wanted a backup of a backup. And in the world of prepping, we understand that, right?
Yeah, of course.
2 is 1, 1 is none. So if you can have more, obviously the better. The more redundancy, the better. The safer you're going to keep yourself and your family. Obviously, it's a big component of it. But you mentioned the brand Tesla. So why did you choose Tesla? I mean, I love the brand, the name, right? But there must have been some reasons for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's the first one that comes to mind for, I think, just about everyone these days, with Elon being such a big figure in our society.
Divisive, whether you like him or not.
Right.
He's a big figure.
Yeah. He's pretty known.
Yes.
Yeah, a couple of people know him.
A couple of people know him.
And because of that, a couple of people know his product.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is the cars, but a big component of what he does, or what his company does, is based in renewable energies.
Right.
Predominantly solar.
Yep.
So that's just kind of where I started, and I looked into them, and they made it so seamless, so easy
Really?
to set up. Yeah, the process.
So I was going to ask, what was the process? Like, how was the purchase and the setup process specifically, in case we got some viewers that are interested?
Well, and specifically to the purchase, they ended up being significantly cheaper than the competition.
Interesting.
So,
I would not have thought that.
Yeah, I didn't think it either at first, but when I started looking into it, they ended up, and they kind of market it that way. It's that they're cheaper than other solutions.
Awesome.
But the process from start to finish was incredibly user-friendly.
Nice.
It's a matter of just going on the website and answering a couple questions.
Okay. How long would that take? 10, 15 minutes? Maybe an hour? What are we talking about?
Maybe 10, 15 minutes, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Not much. And yeah, they kind of take it from there.
That's awesome. So they know what they're doing.
Yeah, they've done a couple.
They've done a couple.
Yeah.
They've done this before. Okay, cool. Not their first rodeo.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So the purchase cheaper than comparable plans and companies. Setup process seamless, user friendly. I like that verbiage. It was really nice. User friendly. 10-15 minute question interview online. They take it from there. They've got their professionals. They'll come out to you. They will do the rest. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So now, what benefits have you seen? You mentioned some. So you've got this thing now.
Well, so I will say that added value to the system and any photovoltaic system is having a battery, because otherwise you're just kind of.
Now it's funny you say that. Just real quick, we get this all the time in our emergency preparedness stuff, and people ask this question. In fact, one of our teachers for the community emergency planning class, Jason Martin, he's been running some of our social media and some things, and he's taught some classes. They had this question specifically that they were asking about, and I've always made a point to say this. It's really nice to have a solar panel, like even in your go bag. Like I've got a 10-watt, a 3-panel, 10-watt. That's really nice to have.
Yeah.
But I keep stressing to them, unless you collect that power and have a way to utilize it whenever you want, you're kind of tethered to when the sun is out. So like at night, if the sun isn't there and you haven't collected the power, your solar panels aren't going to help you a whole lot.
100%.
So you got to have, so the small sizes that we're talking about when it comes to individual emergency preparedness, like with a go bag, I recommend at least a 10,000 milliamp battery. That usually will be able to fully charge from dead at least one iPhone. I've got a 13. Usually these batteries are around 6,000, maybe 7,000 milliamps. So if you got a 10,000 milliamp battery, you can collect that charge. You can use it whenever you want to disseminate that energy. But obviously if you get a 20 or a 30 for almost the same form factor for just a little bit more money, you just can collect more power and use it.
Speaking of that, wasn't there something in the works for
Yeah, we do have, funny you mentioned that, we do have a power bank. We will show individuals. We do have a 10,000 milliamp power bank that we are just going to start promoting online and make available to, to our customers for instant ready. So thank you for that nice little lead in. Appreciate you, like where your head is at. But yeah, so we're making that available to customers because people keep asking for it. So back to solar. For a house, it's the same concept. You've got solar.
Absolutely.
You've got solar panels on the roof. Great, they're collecting energy.
Yeah.
Where does that energy go?
And they will 100% supplement your house. Well, I suppose I should rephrase that. They may not literally 100% supplement your house.
Right. Not one for one.
So right. So they will absolutely supplement the electricity that you are consuming day in and day out. And whether you're home or not, you're consuming electricity because we live in an age of electronics.
Yep.
If
Sun's always plugged in.
If you have a refrigerator, you're going to be consuming electricity. So day in and day out, solar panels will be a great investment, a great backup. But like you said, if you're not collecting that power when the sun goes down on a cloudy day, what have you, there's no way of powering your house. And I will say that another benefit to having the battery backup is something that even just today occurred, is that I don't know what other companies are doing, but Tesla specifically has an alert that if a weather event is scheduled to occur in your area, and they obviously know where I live because they installed. So if a weather alert goes out, the app will automatically trigger my battery backup to get charged from the grid.
Interesting.
To then,
while it's connected.
Right. So I not only produce solar electricity, but in the event that a storm is going to happen, they recognize that and then charge the battery backup so that in the event my grid power is cut, my entire house is powered.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. And I mean, it's not something that I would recommend doing laundry day on.
Right.
But
skip laundry.
Yeah, I would completely skip laundry,
Right.
especially monitoring, because I can monitor the consumption of my house
So cool.
by the minute.
So you have an app on your phone
Yeah.
where you can go through and you can see everything what's happening.
Yeah.
You can see when you're connected to the grid,
Mhm.
when you're putting money back into the grid, energy back in. You can see all of that.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, and that is the last added value there is that it takes a bit, but it takes a bit for any solar company to give what's called PTO, which is power to operate, which allows you to then sell electricity back to the grid. So it's not only am I giving a backup to the backup, but it's less money out of pocket initially,
right.
and then even more so
Right.
when I'm selling them back my electricity.
Oh, that's so cool.
And then right now, the recent legislation that just went through allows for the feds to pay up to 30% back of the total install cost.
Of the total
if you
install cost.
if you pay up front. So I mean, like, financially, if you can support it, I wouldn't recommend this for everyone.
Right.
Because I mean, I don't recommend any form of what we consider prepping
Mm-hmm.
for the layperson to go into astronomical amounts of debt, because
Right.
if you're putting yourself in debt for the sake of prepping,
What have you really gained?
what have you really gained? Exactly right.
Right.
So
Right.
if you have the means to do it, and you can do financing programs through it, but I can't really speak to that. But if you have the means to do it, it's a great investment, because not only is it a backup to the backup, but I mean, it pays for itself.
That's really cool. And I mean, you've shown it to me at work a couple times.
Yeah.
It's just not that this is the reason you go do something, but the app is pretty cool.
Yeah, the app-
very user friendly. It looks awesome.
And
it's fun. It looks like you're having fun when you're managing the power consumption of your house. How cool is that?
I'm not even managing it. I'm just watching
it be managed.
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Someone else is doing it, and just a side thing is that they're always updating it.
Mm-hmm.
So even that's kind of fun.
That's so
But
cool.
and to that end, also the Starlink internet.
I was gonna say, because we also, I not that we did a walkthrough at your house. I went to hang out, right? Like, it wasn't a walkthrough. But you did show me some of, because I had to see the panels and the battery. I was like geeking out over that. But your internet.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
Yeah.
We want redundancy, right? And we want independence.
Right. And I mean, I'm sure you've talked on other podcasts and in general conversation that communication is one of the biggest aspects of just about
information in and information out.
Right.
Absolutely mandatory.
And any emergency management, if you're not getting good information, you might as well not be managing an emergency.
You're not, because you're on an island.
Right.
In a silo.
And if my battery backup can supply power to that satellite dish that you saw, I have internet.
So cool. So you've got your redundant power, and then you've got your redundant internet. So you're not relying on Verizon or someone else. You've got your own third-party satellite internet connection.
Yeah.
So as long as you've got juice in that battery and the sun is out and your solar panels are doing their thing, you've got power and internet at your house.
Yeah. So
regardless of what's happening on the grid around you.
Right.
So cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So good comms.
Yep.
And
power redundancy.
Yeah.
Huge. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. So that was one of the questions. Are there any advantages? I think, check. Yeah. We got that. This is interesting. Does your solar system impact your disaster readiness? So, because disaster readiness really is a mindset, and we try to help people understand. You could go buy a thing, but it's about a mindset. And I know for you, with you being a prepper for over 6 years, and even when I was walking around your house, you've got chickens.
Yeah.
You've got other sustainability, not necessarily off-grid components, but you're going to be able to make your supplies last a lot longer. So I think you can speak to a disaster readiness mindset that you have, and maybe why do you have that disaster readiness mindset in general?
Well, I would have to say that the majority of it goes back to an innate need to just protect myself, protect my family.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a ton of people would be able to agree with that. If not all people would be able to agree with that.
Especially these days. When you look around, like, it's crazy out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and even if it comes to the looming snowstorm that we're going to be getting, it's one less thing that I have to worry about, and when it comes to
Because you have 2
preparedness.
kids now.
Yeah,
Right.
it's so. I mean, they're
2
gonna.
kids and a wife. You want to take care of your family.
Yeah, and you know what I don't want them to be? Cold or hungry.
Right.
So I've checked that off by having these things in place. And so often, like, the preparedness community is kind of stigmatized because,
We've talked about that.
yeah, because it's almost like we're these tinfoil hat wearing crazy
Right.
people, and in reality, we're just solving problems that haven't happened yet.
Right. And so to combat that, and you're not ready for this question, but I think
Okay.
you'll be ready for it. To combat that tinfoil hat wearing concept when it comes to the stigma of preppers, can you speak a little bit to your educational background? What you've done? I see Marist College.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, I have some education.
Mm-hmm.
I've done some things. I have a few acronyms after my name.
Yep.
Nothing astronomically important,
Right.
but yeah. I mean, I'm an relatively educated. I like to think pretty down to earth person.
Yep.
And
You're just doing what makes sense for you and your family based
Well-
on your experience and your education level.
yeah, and I think that a lot of it has to do with my profession
Mhm.
as a paramedic. I mean, we said that I've been doing that for a while.
Yep.
And being an EMS, we're professionals at jumping to worst case scenarios, whether that worst case scenario happens or not.
Right.
So
And we have to. We plan for these things.
yeah. Oh well.
It keeps us ready.
Well, and the way that I like to see it is, and the way that I also like to see my preparedness in terms of if a disaster happens, and this isn't all necessarily for the sake of the end of the world,
Right.
right? I'm not preparing
For a zombie apocalypse.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
We're getting a snowstorm this week.
Yeah, and my preparedness is to that end.
Right.
It's not for the sake of preparing my family for the sake of boarding up our windows and preparing for the marauders.
Right.
It's really
Great word, by the way.
Yeah, it's really for the sake of just not having to worry about things, and you don't realize how much.
How dependent we are on things.
Well, and you don't realize how. Oh, yeah, 100%, and you don't realize that how much you don't have to worry about
Right.
when you've already planned ahead. And it's the way that I like to see it is, especially as a paramedic, preparing for the worst case scenario is just preparing to catch the fall.
Correct.
And that's really all it is. And I think that especially over the past couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
the stigma has really kind of faded
Yep.
on preppers.
And let's keep fighting
Preppers.
that. Let's keep pushing that envelope back because prepping and the prepper community highly valuable. And there are so many things that they're doing that everyone can learn from
Yeah.
and take examples of. Like it makes sense
Yeah.
to prepare.
Well, and I think that the stigma is probably more stemmed from the militant prepper.
Yes. And
Right.
the media, right? And like the TV shows and stuff. Right. Like, I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. Instead of just gearing towards someone who has some canned food in their basement and is
Right.
ready for the power to go out.
Right.
Right? Like, I don't want my family to be cold or hungry.
Right. And that's it. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
So cool. So what we're going to talk about, and I thank you for all that, the information with Tesla, how you have it set up, the process that you went through, super, super valuable. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that and can take some notes and maybe, looking to do some of those things for yourselves and for your families based on the same reasons that Graeme did it, right? Just, I don't want to be cold or hungry. If I can stop that,
Yeah.
check that off the list for my wife and 2 kids, I'm going to go ahead and do that. And it makes sense for him to
Yeah,
plan ahead.
Or husband and no kids.
Or husband and no kids,
Yeah,
right?
whatever your situation is.
For yourself, if you don't want to be cold and hungry, have some stuff,
Yeah.
right? Like, just go get some
Yeah,
stuff.
get a can of beans
That's
and
it.
a generator.
That's it. Just get some stuff.
Yeah.
So no, I totally appreciate that. So what we're
Or
going
a
to talk to
battery
you,
pack.
or battery pack
From Instinct
from
Ready.
Instinct Ready, yeah, the power pack, yeah, very, very nice.
Yeah.
So what we're going to talk about next is also really, really fun. And like I got really excited, and you guys got all super excited about the Tesla solar power system, and it is amazing. But when we come back, and I think this one will probably air next week, we're going to stay in studio, we're going to record it now, but it's about your neighborhood preparedness group.
Yeah.
And again, I'm glad we kind of already tipped the scale and started talking about the militant preppers and how we need to be making sure that this concept of prepping is evolving and we're accepting of it. That's not what this is, but it's really cool what they've done in their neighborhood. Super cool. So we'll stay tuned for that. We're gonna jump into that in just a few minutes. Was there something you wanted to say? Looked like you wanted to jump in. No? Okay, cool. Yeah, it's gonna be really cool. We're gonna be looking forward to that. But before we conclude for today, this episode, there's always homework. You guys know that. Just because Jason's not here doesn't mean that you guys don't get homework, right? It's a substitute teacher. There's still homework. So we're hoping that you can like and subscribe to Disaster Class, leave us a 5-star rating, give us a thumbs up, comment on something that you learned or appreciated about the show, something about Tesla, something about solar systems in general that you like, something that you're interested in. If you have any questions for Graeme, if you post them there, I work with him, I can get them back to him, and then we can go back and forth. So we'd always love to hear from you guys. But also, too, if you have a question, a preparedness tip, or a disaster story to share, we would love that. Send us an email at disasterclass@instinctready.com. Drop us a message on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or LinkedIn, and doing that, we're going to put you in the running to be featured on this show and also win some really cool prizes. So we look forward to hearing from you guys, and we thank you all for listening to Disaster Class. Please stay safe, stay prepared, and stay ready. Educated, prepared, equipped. All right, class dismissed. See you guys.